Welcome everybody. Obviously, we're here tonight at the 2023 Canterbury Golf Annual Awards dinner. I'm joined this evening by Hilary O'Connor, Momoka Kobori, Catherine Palmer, and Amelia Garvey, all based in different parts of the world in Christchurch. Obviously, tonight's video is about showcasing some of our awesome Canterbury ladies golfers that are doing really cool things in their own professions and disciplines around the world as well as here in Christchurch. But obviously another part of this video is also showcase to all our aspiring Canterbury young women golfers around all the different pathways, both in terms of playing and career that are available. So thank you very much, ladies, for joining us this evening. Thought we'd just go around the room as such to give us a little bit of an oversight around where you currently are in the world and what you've been up to over the last sort of week or so in respect to your golf and work. So maybe start with Momoka. Like to let us know where you are this evening?
Cool. So I'm calling from Spain, so south of Spain. So this year I've been playing on the LET. So I've been doing a fair bit of traveling. So started out in Africa, played a bit in Asia, now over in the finishing off the main swing in Europe before a bit of a break. So yeah, just a lot of traveling week by week and just jumping from tournament to tournament, which has been great. Like they got to see a lot of amazing places and played a lot of great courses and a lot of great tournaments. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and I appreciate it's probably quite late where you are in southern Spain there as well. So thanks for the time. Moving over to Amelia, where are you based at the moment, and what have you been up to the last few weeks?
I'm currently just out in New York City. I've got an event here starting Friday. So yeah, basically middle of the season for me on the Epsom tour. We got a pretty busy couple months till we end the season. So yeah, same as Momoka, I guess, just traveling around. I mean, a lot easier travel for me, just around America. But yeah, we're playing, I think we've got about 10 more events within the next maybe 12 weeks or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be a big sprint to the finish.
Busy schedule. And move through to our Christchurch-based ladies. So Hilary, so based here in Christchurch, what have you been up to in your golf and work over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a little bit different to the girls, but so my last couple of weeks, it's been school holidays for like the kids in New Zealand. So that's quite a busy time for coaching. Obviously, I do my traineeships on my third year now. So that means quite a lot of coaching for me. So yeah, school holidays, I take a lot of sessions with like young kids. I also try and play a bit because I want to play some of the tournaments at the end of the year around the Charles Tour and stuff in New Zealand. So I try and dabble in that and try and do some practice. And I have a lot of different jobs within the club. So just trying to handle all of that. Yeah, that's basically me.
Cool. And we'll probably dive into some of those different roles you've got in the club and through the PGA profession as well as we go through, Hilary. So thanks for your time. And finally, we've also got Catherine joining us. So Catherine, yourself?
Yes, so again, quite different to all the other girls. So instead of playing, I guess now I'm running events. So generally in the Canterbury Golf office as a participation coordinator, so trying to get these young players involved and some women into golf as well. So yeah, last week, Where and I actually were down over in Hanna Springs running a Canterbury Junior Open, which was pretty cool. Wasn't over in Spain or anything like that, but a really cool experience for us getting out of the small Canterbury region. So I think the kids really enjoyed it, and yeah, that's about me in the last couple of weeks.
Awesome. So a pretty varied context that we're all in at the moment, all around the world in Christchurch and doing slightly different roles and chasing different dreams. But obviously one thing that binds all you girls is your time here in Canterbury, playing together and representing the region. And one of those obviously probably highlights or memories potentially is that 2015 New Zealand provincial victory in Ashburton, just up the road. Obviously all four of you girls, should I say, were part of that team amongst a couple of others as well. I'd just like to go around and kind of get your own memories of both playing for Canterbury over the various years, and obviously that interprovincial victory in Ashburton in 2015 as well. If you've got any memories that come to mind, maybe start with Hillary.
Yeah, Catherine sent us the link to the New Zealand golf video the other day, and I was watching it last night, and I just started laughing so much because the amount of fun that we had together was ridiculous. We had like fantastic camaraderie, and just watching that and then thinking about like stuff that we did in the motel room and like after golf and just being ridiculous and having a great time was like really funny to look back on, and how young we were bloody children. So to have that like the nerves of steel, honestly, to do that stuff was so cool to watch. And also to see all the people that came out and watched us. We could see all the people that were following our groups and stuff, and I was like, man, that's so cool. We had such good supporters. And I know that we all still have them like asking us what we're doing, so I know that we all appreciate that. But yeah, just honestly, it was the real camaraderie of the team that like we for years and years had like this. Every year it was like competitive, big build-ups towards these tournaments, like heaps of fun. And I think like that's a really big reason as to why we all stayed in golf in different ways and got pushed to do what we're doing now, is because of that, like the friendship that we had in our group. It really pushed us to do our best in the game and made us love it even more. So I'm very, very lucky to have a group of girls like you guys to push me like that.
Some really cool memories there. Amelia, what's your memories of Canterbury in that 2015 year?
Yeah, I completely agree with Hilly. Like, I think it was crazy just how competitive we were as a group of girls. I know Auckland would always put up a really good team, but I think the Canterbury team was always the one that people were looking out for, because we weren't just all really, really good golfers. I think the team dynamic that we had was unbelievable. And I know Momoka and I went and competed on in college golf, and you know, it was pretty different, I'd say, my team environment in college. And I think if we were to have had something like as Canterbury girls did, it would have made our team a lot better. But it's really hard to come by, to find, you know, 5 or 6 girls that all get along so well. And, you know, we're all pushing, and, you know, throughout the year, we're actually competing against each other. But then to get to the end of the year and to, you know, be rooting for each other out on the golf course, it was really special. And I definitely, you know, I think I'd probably be more nervous going back to a interprovincial right now than I was back then. You know, I feel like we all just embrace the team aspect of it, and we all had each other's back out there. And yeah, some really fun memories of that.
That's awesome. And Catherine, obviously a bit of a home course for you growing up was Ashburton. So obviously some pretty cool memories to bring it home there in 2015.
Yeah, so yeah, I had to share that video because what a week it was with all you girls, and obviously we had Juliana Hong in the team, and she's professional as well, which is amazing. As you know, it's incredible to know that, you know, the whole team was such a, you know, had so much strength, and we all got along. Like no one was, you know, left out or anything like that. And I think that's quite special as a team, and all the team bonding sessions we had leading up to that was a big help as well. But yeah, it's definitely probably one of my highlights. Obviously, rep golf in the interprovincials has always been my highlight. You're always looking forward to the end of the year with the season. And yeah, but just going back when Amelia sunk that putt for us to get into the playoff was pretty impressive and a great feeling for us all. And yeah, I think we had a few videos where you could see the excitement, and I think we all gained a lot of energy from that. You know, like we knew we were in the final and we felt comfortable being at Ashburton. We knew the course, and again, we had so much support from the ones coming that travelled down from Christchurch. So yeah, it was just a really cool memory. Yeah.
That's awesome. And finally, Momoka, any memories of Canterbury and maybe that year as well?
Yeah, I think like, like all you girls kind of touched on it too, but it was just kind of that whole week, not even the whole week, but just that whole season, like building up to it too, just the amount of time that, the group of us spent together, like on and off the golf course, that was really the amount of fun we had, I think really shows, what a great group we had. And, Amelia, you touched on it too, but like in college, like, we had the similar thing, travel as a team, compete as a team. And I think like, and it is really rare to have like that group of girls, that get along so well and, just have that such great relationship, just have that great dynamic interacting, just spending time together like on and off the course and stuff like that. So no, it was just such a fun week. And with with golf being such an individual sport most of the time, and that was kind of one of the special times where you could play for something like other than yourself. You were playing for the team, and I think that kind of made us all want it even more, if that makes sense. So I think that was like a really special part of that week, and just that really special moment where we could just really be together like as a team, and go for something like all together. And so it was a really special moment, like looking back at the video, like it was so cool to see it, like because I hadn't seen that in a while. And so it was just watching it, was like, oh, that was like such a great throwback moment, just looking back at what happened then. So that was a really cool week.
Oh, that's great. It's so cool to hear all the sort of similar themes from all you girls, obviously. So it's a special memory for your time in Canterbury, so that's awesome to hear. I just want to go around now and sort of talk to you all a little bit around, I guess, the journey since that point. I know 8 years, a lot has happened since that time, but you've all gone through different pathways and different journeys, and obviously resulting in where you're all now. But I just want to maybe go around, starting potentially with Amelia and Momoka, and talk to you guys about your decision to kind of go the college pathway, and what the thought process was around that, and chasing that kind of pro dream, and sort of transition and into the pro game and all those types of things. So Amelia, can you maybe sort of talk us through briefly your journey last sort of 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, so I don't know, I feel like back then for us going to college wasn't a huge thing. I know that a couple of the girls from the North Island had gone over and had some pretty good results, which kind of made me look into it. And I went to, I think in my second to last year of high school, I went over to the States and played a junior tournament, and actually saw the amount of coaches that were out recruiting for potential college players, and realized, okay, this is actually way bigger, like way bigger than I thought it was. So I had a look into it, and then did some college visits, and saw just the amount of opportunity that was over here in the States. And I think, it's pretty rare. Like, I grew up at Kaikoura Golf Club, and I was the only girl out there for a long time. So coming over to the States and like seeing how many great amateur girl golfers there were, it was really eye-opening. And I needed the push that college golf gave me. I think being surrounded by girls that are just as good, if not better than you, it really made me work a lot harder, and just being held accountable every morning to get up and practice with your team, and play qualifying, and then also just be out at tournaments, world-class tournaments, kind of twice every month. It was really cool, and I love being able to study over in the States, and I really wanted to get my university degree as well. So I guess that was the icing on top of kind of the development it gave me as well into turning professional.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Momoka, a similar journey, potentially a different pathway a little bit as well.
Yeah, pretty similar in terms of like college, like went through a very similar like recruiting process, and went over there, spent 4 years at Pepperdine, and yeah, like, and it was actually a great 4 years, like in terms of, it was quite kind of similar to that the Canterbury Golf, team atmosphere. It was obviously, different in a lot of ways, but it was just that sense of, it, for example, like, getting up in the mornings through the workouts a lot easier to do, like, as a group of girls, and, when you all do it together rather than kind of on your own. And so there was that kind of side to it, which was really cool, that I really enjoyed, getting the degree and kind of learning kind of, how to kind of grow as a person. I think in the university atmosphere, there was also another big bonus, I think, which I probably wouldn't have gotten out of it if I had just gone straight into, professional golf right after high school and stuff like that. So, that was great. And I kind of, took a few, different paths. When I got back home, I kind of started my first year of my traineeship back in New Zealand, when we couldn't travel and stuff like that, which was actually great. It kind of gave me a chance to be still in the golfing world, but in a different way to being a player, which I actually really enjoyed. Did my, coaching at Pegasus, and gave me a lot of chances to interact with a lot of people through coaching and just, working in the shop and stuff like that, which was great. And, ultimately I decided to kind of go overseas when I got the chance to, and head off that way. But I've been lucky in the sense that I've had a lot of ways to kind of see the different sides of golf, if you will. So which gave me a different perspective to kind of a lot of different things that go on behind the scenes that I probably wouldn't have realized if I was just playing. So that's kind of what my last 4 or 5 years have looked like.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And just going now to Hilary and Catherine, obviously slightly different pathway again, sort the playing perspective, but it's also really important to highlight to our girls that there is other opportunities to be involved in golf, other than just seeking that kind of pro playing career as well. So maybe go to Hilary, who's from a different pathway through the PGA, and do you want to talk to us about your process kind of post school and your decision to do that and where that's led to now?
Yeah. Well, for me, my sort of schooling life looked a lot different. I kind of knew I didn't like it. I kind of knew I didn't belong in the academic space. It just didn't work for me. But I knew that I had a lot of strengths, with how I talk to people and my communication skills. And took me ages to figure out what I wanted to do. All I knew is I could play golf and I could talk to people, and I was like, how do I make these things work together? And it I've been working at golf clubs since I was young, so I already had the experience in the club. And then when COVID came around, the old COVID, everyone does something because of COVID, but I couldn't go overseas. Couldn't really do anything, so I thought, I think I could probably do my traineeship. And it is there is an academic side to it. There's 3 years worth of study, and a bunch of exams and stuff on top of it. So that is a real push. But working day to day doing coaching, for me, combines the two things that I really think are important to me, which is definitely communicating with people, and and talking about golf is something that we've done it for years and years, so kind of comes as second nature. But that's the reason I sort of started my traineeship, was because I knew that I wanted to do those two things together. And day to day, that is exactly what I do. I basically just talk to people all day, and in whatever capacity, and coaching or and just standing around the shop having a yarn. That's the things that really sort of tie me to the game now, and I love that. I love that part about it.
Awesome, thank you for that. Finally, Catherine, obviously we've kind of spoke to some people who've made it in the player space, and then obviously Hilly in the coaching space, and obviously yourself now working in kind of the administration, the promotion of the game from a regional level. You want to talk to us about how you've come to that and how that looks for you?
Yeah, well, so I'm very similar to Hilly. So during high school, obviously playing a lot of golf. Didn't really have the academic side, so definitely practice, and try to, develop my game. I always struggled a wee bit. I do well and have to put, the work in. The anxiety was probably my biggest fault, thing that really affected my game a lot. It wasn't just golf, just day to day, but that made my golf a lot harder. So I yeah, when I left high school, I then studied sports science because I really love sports, and I always had this, I guess, goal that I thought, or dream, I should say, go over to the States and, train with these, well, try and help these golf athletes over in the States and things like that, where Amelia and Momoka have been. That was always in the back of my mind, but again, I just didn't have the courage and just couldn't leave home kind of thing. I wasn't quite ready for that. So I went down a different pathway again and just got into the workforce, along with still playing golf at just a rec level. And then I guess after the studies didn't quite work out for me as well. So dad mentioned to me, look, you know what? Do you want to see if you can give golf a go? Just see how good you can get. So I just had a year off, just played golf, played okay, but yeah, just didn't quite tick all the boxes. I take my hat off to Momoka and Amelia. I just know how hard this game is, and you do have to have, the right, not just skill level, but you got to have all the other aspects to the game as well, mentality, and be so confident and back yourself. I think that's a real key. So yeah, definitely take my hat off to you girls, because there's people like me who just didn't quite have it and go down a different pathway. So then I just worked, and my last job for where I am currently at Canterbury Golf was dental assisting, so quite different again, away from sport and just doing something quite completely different. But obviously you gain a lot of skills from working in a different industry, great communication skills, and it really built confidence for someone that's quite shy like I was growing up. And then obviously I think on Facebook I saw an advertisement with the Canterbury Golf role, and I thought it was only a maternity leave, so I was, I just thought, no, this is a great opportunity. I really love golf, it's my passion. Really love helping others, and I thought it was right up my alley. So when I saw that, I went home and thought, no, I'm going to definitely apply. And it's been probably the best decision I've made. So I'm really happy that I'm now amongst the golfing community and the Canterbury Golf, with the Canterbury Golf team. It's fantastic to see young ones coming through and give back to the sport, I guess. I've always been a player, working hard at my own game, but it's actually nice to flip that around and actually try and help others and run events and do all those things that you didn't realize as a player that goes on behind the scenes, especially at Canterbury Golf, because Canterbury Golf is such a wonderful region and we do so much compared to other regions in New Zealand, and the game's just booming. I'm looking after the Wee Futures Canterbury kids, and it's just incredible to see the talent, and not so much talent, I guess, but just the enjoyment I'm having. So that's me, and I hope to stay with Canterbury Golf for as long as, and I just hope I can develop and gain as much experience and help these little ones, and not only little ones, but try and get some more women into golf, because that's obviously a wee struggle that we have in New Zealand. That's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you all the ladies there for your honesty and insights into that. It's really awesome to hear, and obviously explore all the different options that are available to girls and women. As Catherine was alluding to there, we obviously want as many of the ladies involved in the game in the various capacities. So hopefully you've inspired a few there with some of those different stories. And just want to move on now to maybe some tips that you might have. We start with Momoka and Amelia, maybe one or two tips from your perspective as players that have started here and have made it professionally both in Europe and the US. So talking to some of our young lady players who are wanting to, or have similar ambitions, what would be some of your tips for them for wanting to be pros? Momoka?
Am I going?
Oh, sorry. Who's going?
I've got to take some tips off you, Momoka, so speak up.
Right. I've been thinking about this, and when you kind of said the outline of this of the call. And it's going to sound really funny coming from me, I think, because when I was a junior, I definitely would not have said the same thing. And but I think one of the most important things, I think, is as a golfer, I think it's important to build a team around you. And I think, you girls know that for a long time I didn't have a coach, didn't, really work with anyone, worked with my dad during my junior years and stuff like that, but never really had like a team around me as such for a long time and until recently. And that was kind of the case. And so what I've kind of learned over, playing last year and this year is that it's so crucial to have that group of people that can be your support system. And, I think as a golfer, our job is to essentially hit the golf ball, like play golf, and I think as a junior, I thought that, I can still, manage everything. I can still, manage myself around the course. I can still, book all the flights, accommodation, work on my strength and conditioning. I thought I could do all that on my own. And I think last year and this year, I've kind of gone, hold on, hang on a second, that's not quite, it's, I could do all those things, but that's just going to take away from what I can do, the time and effort I can put into developing, in my own game. So that's been the biggest change, I think, and I'm still kind of working my way through it. But I've been lucky in the sense that working with my coach Dom at the moment, based in Australia. Got my caddy and manager Simon traveling with me during the season and stuff like that, and working with Quinny, my mental performance coach, and it's just made a lot of difference to kind of have that team support that I can rely on to do that aspect for me, kind of, those jobs that they're good at and I'm not the best at. I'll just, give it to them and be like, here you go, can you take care of this for me? Which just frees up so much mental space, just the effort it takes off. And it's funny because in terms of travel, I honestly could not tell you what my flight schedules are. I'll just be like, hey, just tell me what time I'm leaving. Just tell me when to be ready, and then I'll be there, kind of thing. So it's actually pretty amazing how much difference that can make, and how much mental space it can free up as well. So it's funny, as a junior, I probably would not have said that. I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'll listen to it, be like, oh no, I think I'll be fine. I can do it on my own and stuff like that. But about 6 years later, here I am, repeating those same things. But I think it really is important. It's really crucial, and I don't think we didn't realize that as a junior. And so it'd be one of the things to keep in mind, I think, as a up and coming golfer. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that is perfect. Thank you much for sharing that. Obviously, we talk quite a bit to our young players about that circle of support and what they've got around them. So it's really cool to hear that from you, and that's something you've learned over that time. Amelia, anything to follow on with that?
Yeah, completely agree with Momoka there. I think it's also people to hold you accountable to, the standards in every area of the game as well. I know I use my team in terms of, sending my practice schedules through, sending my goals and my focuses for the round, and doing my stats and everything like that. So I think if you're on your own, a lot of people are motivated to do it enough, but that really kind of keeps me in check. When things get hard or I get busy, I know that people are expecting things from me, which I think I need. So I do think having that team as well. At the end of the day, we're playing professionally, and there's more to professional golf than just going out and playing Thursday to Sunday. So yeah, I do think that's a really good point. I think my thing, obviously for younger girls, maybe trying to go pro or working their way up, is just try not and compare yourself to anyone else's road or pathway. Momoka and I, we had similar pathways going to college, but since then it's been completely different. And I think we would have all compared ourselves to Lydia Ko growing up, and look, I haven't ended up anywhere like her yet. But it doesn't mean that, the road that I'm on isn't going to get me there. It's just going to be different. And I think, you're going to lose more than you win in this game. Even Lydia Ko probably has. So you just got to kind of enjoy and learn from the mistakes that you make, and don't see them as a negative. I think the more failures I've had, the more of a rounded person I've become, and I've started to use those learnings to my advantage. So just go out there and have fun with it, and also you never lose, you learn out there, which again, when I was a young girl, I definitely wouldn't have agreed with that, but once you're out here for a while, you do really realize that those times, those hardships, they really turn you into not just a better golfer, but a better person as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that insight. It's great learnings again. We'll throw it now to Hilly and Catherine. Obviously, from your perspective, now ladies, of someone who's working in the local golf industry here in Canterbury. Do you want to talk to us about that as an option and maybe some tips around how to get into that space?
Yeah. So for me, like, I think that advice that the girls gave was so spot on, and definitely not what they would have said when 8 years ago. So it's good to see some massive growth, and maturity from both of you. But I think for me, just going along with what Amelia said, backing yourself with what your pathway is, and it's totally fun. There's no just cookie cutter way of doing being in the golf industry and trying to play or trying to do something in it. As Momoka said, she did a traineeship for a year. She was in the same year as me, and then veered off and went overseas. And Amelia's gone to college golf and played, and it's just totally different. So I think just fully backing yourself. If you know what you're good at, back that and try and find something that works for it, even if there's nothing like it yet. Try and make something like it, because we're still in a game where it's progressing, but it's not progressive enough. So if you can think of something niche that you want to do for a job, and it can tie in things that you're good at, amazing. And I think for me, in the local space, the best thing that I ever did was go and work at a golf club. And I worked at a few different clubs, but I started at Russley, playing golf pretty much every day of the week for 8 hours a day. And then at night I would go and work in functions in the cafe, and I started doing the dishes there, and to go from start doing the dishes and the functions to working up through the functions to going back over to the shop and then starting my traineeship. I built a pathway throughout the club and sort of made it my hive of activity. And now I have a great reputation and relationship with the members, and also it kind of goes outward into the ecosystem that we have in Christchurch. So I think just doing what's right for you and finding a pathway with it, whatever you want to do, like me at Russley, is the real key. And it doesn't have to be, it's not as glamorous as what you're going to think it is. That is the one thing that I realized as well. It's it's whatever you want it to be, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. So that's what I think.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And finally, to Catherine, obviously, when you kind of asked the question around jobs and golf, probably a lot of people's minds go to either being a pro player or being a PGA professional, something like that. But obviously, the administration side of the game and the promotion of the game and helping people come through and pathways around that is obviously another bona fide option. So, Catherine, would you like to just speak to us about your thoughts about that space?
Yes. So, my advice to our young girls is that if you don't go down that professional golf pathway, that there's a lot more greater opportunities within the golfing industry. Don't just stop playing, like let's say you don't turn professional. I've seen quite a few girls or women go over to the States, do their golf scholarship, and then they obviously didn't succeed with their golf, or they just found it really tough, and then they've come back home and they've just given up golf completely, which is quite sad to see, because they had so much talent, and obviously they really enjoyed the game to even get as far as they did. So I think my advice is, just think outside the box. There's golf is everywhere, no matter what region you're in. So for instance, me working with Canterbury Golf, there's a lot of opportunities. There's golf coaching. We do young futures coaching as an option. There's the advertising marketing kind of side of things. And we've got Blair, who's a little bit further up and works in our rep space in the talent development squad. And then we've got Mike, who does all the inter-club kind of stuff and does all the results and draws. And I guess in Canterbury, we're so fortunate that we've got so many events that we run throughout our calendar year. Like we struggle to even fit one more event in within the year, which is very impressive. So I guess, to our young girls, just don't give up the golf dream. But if the golf dream does not happen the way you wanted it to be, is that, there's definitely other opportunities. Like Haley's gone down the PGA, trainee pathway, so she's more focused on the golfing, golf coaching side of things. Or you can, be in the Canterbury golf world and, just work in the industry itself, whether it's, if you are still just wanting to play your golf, a lot of people just are working in the pro shop. I know I worked at Christchurch, and Callum in there, he's been there for years. He just loves the game and loves the people. So I think that's a real hit, that there's a lot of options within golf. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. Such good advice from everyone. It's really awesome to hear. So one final question before I let you all get back to your busy lives. I just wanted to ask everyone what their plans or goals are for the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Maybe start with the ladies overseas. Amelia, what's the next 6 to 12 months look like for yourself?
So obviously I'm on the Epsom tour, which is the development tour for the LPGA. So the top 10 on the money list at the end of the year get their card onto the LPGA for next season. So I'm currently at 21 right now. So halfway through the year and still in a good spot to get in that top 10 and get on, pursue my dream of being on the LPGA since I was a young girl. So get this back half of the year done, and hopefully we'll be on the big tour next year.
Awesome. All the best for that. Momoka, what's next for you?
Yeah, pretty similar. So next, until the end of the year, we're still finishing out the second half. We just crossed the halfway mark on the LET tour. So still got just under half the season to go, which is exciting. So I guess in terms of goals, I really want to get myself in a place or finish in a situation where I've got the status secured for the following year. So at this stage, the plan is to next year to play on the LET, but to secure better status than I have this year. So the season for me hasn't gone quite the way I wanted it to be honest. So but there has been some really good learnings along the way. So I really want to kind of put those into play and then give it the best go I can for the remainder of the season.
Awesome. Good luck for the rest of the year for you. Hilly, what's it looking like for you in the next 6 months?
Finish my traineeship is the main thing that I'm going to be doing. So that's that's very time consuming for me at the moment. So I'm due to finish at the end or start of December this year. If I can get all the study done, pretty much. So hoping to get that done, and then I'm going to try and play a few events as well on the same on the Charles tour, see if I can sort of still go out there and play well. So I made like $4,000 off 6 events last year, just like dabbling on the side. So I was like, might as well just do it while I can, and I can put in 30 minutes a week of practice or something. So I'm going to try and do that. And I'm kind of like dabbling in a little bit of long drive stuff at the moment. So I'm going to try and do that. I've got like a couple of virtual long drive things coming up. So that's a bit random. Don't know how that's going to go. We'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot of golf for me. I've tried to pick up other sports to do in spare time, but it's all too frustrating. So I'll just stick to golf at the moment.
Fair enough. Pretty exciting 6 months as well. All the best for finishing that traineeship and everything around that.
Thanks.
And finally, Catherine, next 6 months or so?
Yeah, for me, it's just a matter of growing this game and gaining as many opportunities for our young kids and our women. So yeah, just always trying to make this game better and better, get more people involved, whether it's social or, you know, trying to go up that higher pathway. Yeah, that's pretty much me. And I'll also be hitting the Hickory clubs. I've kind of dabbled down that pathway a little bit, so it'll be in my spare time if I'm not at Canterbury Golf. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, ladies, thank you so much for your time this evening and this morning here in Christchurch. So great to hear what you're all up to, and obviously we've got that Canterbury connection. So we will look forward to seeing your progress and all the best. Thanks again.